Hey guys, welcome back to Rooted Homeschool. I am so glad you're here. If you're new here, I'm Christina. I'm a homeschooling mom of 5 kids, ages 1, 2, 5, 9, almost 10, and 13. And my 5-year-old's almost 6 too, like crazy. We are finishing up our first full year of homeschooling, which is mind-blowing to me. This year flew by. And that is actually what I'm talking to you guys about today, is our year-end review and Q4 update. This video is a collaboration with 2 of my homeschool mama friends here and over on Instagram, Gina from Gina V Homeschool and Brooke from Shangri-La Schoolhouse. These are some of my first homeschool mama friends that I made on social media. And let me just tell you, don't underestimate the power of your social media friends. We all started our channels around the same time. So they were my first ever YouTube collaboration, and I am sure we will continue to collaborate in the future. We all have different age children. We all use different curriculums. We all live in different places. Definitely when you're done watching this video, go check out Brooke and Gina's videos. I'll link them below in the description box. And if you're here from Brooke or Gina's channel, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I hope you stick around. I have so many exciting things coming on my channel, from curriculum reviews and curriculum unboxings and curriculum picks for next year for ages pretty much he'll be 3 at the time by then, 3 all the way up to 14. So I have a lot to share with you guys, DIY stuff around the house, cleaning and organizing, food, all of the things. So I hope you stick around for those things as well. So I'm really excited to share with you kind of how I think our year went, as well as where we are and how Q4 went and all of those things. So we are not quite done yet. I am a teacher, teaching in person as of a little over a month ago. And so I'm pretty much going to be having them do school until I'm done. But we will kind of taper things off little by little as we go. And I'll kind of explain to you my thoughts around that at this point. I know a lot of homeschoolers are almost done, or they're currently finishing up, but I feel because with our schedule, we don't do long days of homeschooling. I just feel it makes sense to not end early in terms of our school year. So that could change and develop as we grow in our homeschooling journey, but that's just kind of my thoughts on it for right now. I will have videos coming up sharing our summer homeschool plans very soon, and I will have curriculum videos coming up for you guys. It made sense to me to talk to you guys about our year in review before I start talking to you about our summer plans and next year and all of those things. But let's get into the year-end review. If you've been here any length of time, you probably know that I love Gather Round Homeschool. We did not do nearly as many units as I thought we would when we set out in the beginning of the year. So I can tell you that we started with North American birds, loved it. We did Asia next, also loved Asia. We did Indigenous Peoples next, which was a mini unit. Then we did Christmas, which we absolutely loved. We did space, and we are currently doing artists. So we'll only get through 6 Gather Round units this year. I thought we would do 10. I thought we would do 1 a month. 6, and 2 of those are actually mini units. So it's really more 4 full units and 2 mini units. So you could probably say more 5. More half the amount of units than what I thought we would do. And I am totally at peace with that. I've already done videos on Gather Round, so I won't get too much into it, but I will just tell you, we've totally slowed down our pace and don't feel the need to do 4 or 5 lessons a week with it. We really just have so many other things that we're loving and so many other things that are just working for our homeschool. And we absolutely love Gather Round, but we've just found that we're not in a rush. So we are still not done with artists. We are actually really loving this unit, but we're only about halfway through. So we will finish out the year with artists. I thought maybe we would get in botany, but we're not going to. I'm not going to push it. That's where we're at with Gather Round. That is my review. I absolutely love Gather Round. You will definitely see Gather Round next year. Next thing that I want to talk to you about is O Freedom, because other than Gather Round, O Freedom was the second curriculum that I ever incorporated into our homeschooling, other than math, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. O Freedom, and I also have a full video about this, and do a lesson with us and a review on this. O Freedom is a U.S. history curriculum, and it is literature based. So it's not a lot of like work. It's not a lot of book work. It's not a lot of writing. There's some like an optional journal, which we do utilize, not all the time, but we do utilize it. I didn't get nearly as far in this as I thought that we would. And I'm totally okay with that. Love O Freedom. Love it. And you have a few days left to get the discount. I'll put it in the description box below. The discount ends May 31st. So you have a few days, depending on when you watch this video. Next thing I want to talk to you about is our Foundations in Personal Finance unit. This was actually one of my other collaborations that I did with Brooke and Gina. We did Do a Lesson with Us videos, all different curriculums, all different ages. We finished this up. This also was one that we just kind of like flowed with. We didn't rush it. We didn't give it a deadline. We absolutely loved this. I would highly, highly, highly recommend this. And you can go back and watch the video, but they have either this one, which is middle school, they have high school, they have curriculum for all the way down, like all the way down to I think 3 years old for teaching personal finance. So definitely check that out as well. Here's something that I'm kind of sad to say, guys. We didn't use this as much as I would have loved. I love, love, love this. I love read alouds. I love the idea of having this as like a keepsake, of having this as like a shared writing. And I'm not throwing it away. I'm not giving up on it, but we've kind of stopped using it. I almost feel like we didn't need it, and it almost felt sometimes more like a chore when we would rather just like talk organically about what we were reading and not feeling like we had to write about every single book. So this may or may not work for your family. It was only, I think, like $5 on Amazon. So it's not a huge loss if you want to give it a try. Still love the idea, but I just want to be honest, we've kind of stopped using it. What's next? Oh, I should have brought this up when I was talking about Gather Round, our main unit studies. The other way that we've been using Gather Round is their Ready to Read program, and I absolutely love the Ready to Read program. We are on the second book with Gia at the pond. The first one was Burrows and Holes, and I have a whole Do a Lesson with Me video about burrows and holes, which I'll link below. We are, I think, on lesson 13 of At the Pond. We've also been taking our time with this. I'm totally fine with that as well. So I'll give you updates on where we plan to go with Gia's curriculum in my first grade curriculum picks video that I'll have coming out shortly. But if you're looking for something that teaches reading and also includes math, because the main unit studies for Gather Round do not include math, but their Ready to Read program does, and I absolutely love that addition. Next up is one that I've been really excited about. I did a Do a Lesson with Us video on this curriculum, and I also did an update as a collaboration with Jamie over at Simply Living It, so I'll also link that below. Square Foot Gardening. This was our first campfire curriculums unit that we did. We're still not done with it, to be honest. We have 2 more lessons left. These are only 12 lessons. They're pretty in-depth though. You can go as deep or as shallow with these as you want, as hands-on or not as you want. We've gotten really hands-on with it. We are building a garden. We're in the process. I'll do another update on that in the future, but we absolutely loved this, and this was definitely something that I'm glad that we did. So this worked out really, really well. Again, stay tuned for my curriculum picks videos for updates on whether or not we'll continue to use campfire curriculums. Next up is something that I mentioned and showed you guys in my spring curriculum picks video, which was my first full unit from the Brave Writer. So if you've been following me on social media, you know that I love Julie over at the Brave Writer. You know that I love Poetry Tea Time. You know that I'm all about the Brave Learner books. If you haven't read that, go read it. She offered this at like a crazy deal, and I had been wanting to try one of the units from the Brave Writer, and so I snatched it up. And I also took out the corresponding book from the library. We haven't started it yet. So I've kind of been in a place where I don't want to add anything else in to the end of our year. And especially not until we finish up one or two things. So my thought is I'd really like to still do this. I think if and when, well, I know we'll finish it, but when we finish our gardening unit study and when we finish our current read aloud that we're doing, the Kidnapped Prince, which is part of our O Freedom curriculum, then we will do this. So when we get two things kind of like off of our plate, we'll do this. The kids are actually looking forward to it. The boys are looking forward to it. It's a graphic novel. And we really loved the 7-day writing blitz, which is a free 7-day writing challenge from Julie over at the Brave Writer. So I definitely recommend that. It's a lot of fun. And so I think we will still do this, but I'll keep you posted. If we don't do it this year, we'll either do it over the summer or we'll do it next year. But stay tuned for updates on that. Two more things that I want to talk to you guys about are math and nature study. So math I knew was going to throw me for a loop. It was going to be a challenge for me. And so before we even started our homeschool year, I had my kids using Khan Academy and sort of using it as a way to ease into sort of independent math study. And my plan was, once I found a math curriculum that I really loved, I'd switch them over or maybe have them do both. And so Justice is still using Khan Academy. However, so he used it for the whole year. He really likes it. On my end, I think I want us to try something different. So I'm planning for us to use something different for math for next year. So I will talk to you guys about that in my 9th grade curriculum picks, which sounds insane to me. But so stay tuned for that. Jackson started off with Khan Academy and it didn't work out. So I think the online math for him just didn't fit. It didn't work. And I like the idea of like all the kids having like one math curriculum and things like that, but that's what's so beautiful about homeschooling is that they don't all have to be in this one size fits all model. They don't all have to be in the same box, and that's okay. It didn't work for Jackson, and I said, Jackson, he seemed so relieved when I told him, we're gonna try something else. And if that doesn't work, we'll try something else. And if that doesn't work, we'll try something else. And we'll figure it out together. Don't stress it. So we tried Master Books, Math Lessons for a Living Education, Level 4, and he's really liked this. He's about halfway through it. For the most part, this was a very positive change for him for math. However, I do feel like for us what's lacking is him getting instruction. Now, I didn't get the teacher's guide. Maybe I should have, but I didn't. I really want for my older kids for them to be more independent in math. However, guys, I'm really excited because Jackson is also going to be trying a new math next year. And I will share that with you guys in my 5th grade curriculum picks video, but I am so excited for him to try it because I feel like it's like the perfect, I'm hoping it's the perfect answer to somewhere in between like fully online and fully in a book. So stay tuned for that. However, I do like this Master Books math. I just feel like we don't love it enough to not try something else. We can always go back to it if we decide, you know what, we liked that better. Last thing that I want to talk to you guys about is nature study. So nature study is something that totally caught me by surprise this year. People that know me in real life and have known me for a long time know that I was never a naturey person, okay? I grew up in the city. I had concrete out in front of my house and a little patch of grass in the backyard. I was never a naturey person. Hated bugs, all of it. My mom took me to Muir Woods when I was a teenager in California, and I was miserable. And I so regret that as an adult, because I would die to go to Muir Woods right now. Like, oh my God, that would be like a dream trip. So I didn't plan on nature study being a part of our homeschool. I think what sort of turned me on to nature study was North American birds from Gather Round Homeschool. And little by little, my love and interest for nature grew. And that's one thing that I love about this homeschooling journey, is that like I'm getting woken up to like things that I love to learn about and things that I'm interested in. And we are learning alongside one another. And it is like a really beautiful thing, guys. I absolutely love that about homeschooling. I happened upon exploring nature with children. And if you have not tried exploring nature with children, I cannot say enough good things about it. I absolutely love it. It is a steal. It's like $18 for a year's worth of nature study every single week of the year. There is a new topic. Like, it is amazing, and it drives 80% of what we do in terms of nature study in our homeschool. Other little fun units that I find, mostly from different curriculum making mamas on Instagram that I have found that make beautiful resources, that's probably the other 20%. And then sometimes they come together in this beautiful symphony. Like, these mamas come up with these beautiful resources that align with topics from exploring nature with children. And so that has been one of the biggest surprises for me, is how much nature study has become a part of our homeschool. It is part of our weekly homeschool. Like, we don't go a week without some sort of nature study. And studying nature is studying science. Like, we are studying science, but what I love so much about exploring nature with children and some of these other curriculums that I've been blending with exploring nature with children is the fact that they take nature study and they blend it with science and history and art and math and all these cross-curricular connections where you are like immersed in the topic. And I so love that, and I so realize that like that's how I best teach as a teacher, and my kids love it too. My favorite one that I have found, although there are a handful that I really love, but recently I found Thistles and Biscuits, and Thistles and Biscuits is just amazing. We are currently doing Butterfly Week. Like, it's Butterfly Week right now, and this curriculum that Betsy over at Thistles and Biscuits came out with in collaboration with another homeschool mom is absolutely amazing. You should still go get it. I'm gonna link it below in the description box. It is a bilingual butterfly unit. So even if you missed Butterfly Week, you can totally do this. And our butterflies just hatched a few days ago. And that is probably one of the top 5 things that has been like our top 5 favorite things out of the entire year would be this experience of watching these caterpillars turn into butterflies over the course of the month. And it is so rich and so beautiful. Like, I'll just show you a couple of the resources that I'm excited about, like learning numbers, math vocabulary, spelling. It's absolutely beautiful. So I guess my point is nature study has become a huge part of our homeschool. Exploring nature with children drives the bulk of that. And then Thistles and Biscuits has been amazing for more than just nature study, for cultural studies and language studies. We'll be using so much of it. So I'll share more about that in my curriculum picks video, but I just wanted to give you that like overview of what we've been using, what's been working, what we're absolutely loving, and kind of where we're at in our year and also in quarter 4. So finishing up our artists unit, Probably not finishing up ponds. Like ponds will either go into the summer or we'll pick it back up next year. Finishing up square foot gardening. We finished up foundations in personal finance. We've not yet gotten to They Called Us Enemy, and we are still enjoying our nature studies. So I feel like that was a lot. It wasn't intended to be all about curriculum. However, I wanted to update you guys with where we are in our year in terms of curriculum, where we are in the quarter in terms of curriculum, and just give you an update of how things are going. One thing that I have found really helpful is the clipboard, and I explained this in some of my other videos, so I'm not going to go through it with you, but especially now that I am back to teaching in person, this has been really helpful in terms of getting my kids set up so that they know what to do before I get home. So this is another kind of like year-end review thing that I wanted to share with you that's been really helpful and that we'll definitely continue to use moving forward. Hopefully you found this helpful in terms of like how we've incorporated these different curriculums, how we've decided on pacing. I will tell you that if it's not apparent already, I make an overall plan, but I don't plan out the whole year. I kind of have some things that I have in mind that will go throughout the whole year, and then some things that I'm like, we'll see when we get there. I don't give us a deadline for finishing stuff. I kind of just like let us flow and have that freedom to do those things. If it's a beautiful day outside and I decide like, you know what, today we're just not going to do that one. Like we're going to go outside, we're going to go to the park, we're going to just relax. We have that freedom as homeschool families. So I just want to encourage you, have a plan, sure, but just be flexible with your plan. We don't have to finish up the year curriculum in a year. We can finish it early, we can finish it late. That's one of the beautiful things about homeschooling, is that we do all of these things in a way that works for our family. And so I hope you found this video helpful, encouraging, interesting. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. Click the notifications bell so that you know when new videos come out, because there are so many fun things coming up on my channel that I'm really excited to share with you. If you haven't seen Brooks and Gina's videos yet, make sure when you're done watching this video to click the links in the description box to go watch their videos. Let them know I sent you. If you're here from their channels, thank you so much for coming. I hope you stick around, and I hope to see you all in my next video. Let me know if you have questions about anything that I talked about today or anything in general related to homeschool, motherhood, big family life, any of those things. And until next time, stay rooted.